Have you ever stopped to think that you might be living a life far below your true potential? It may sound exaggerated, but what if I told you there are powerful spiritual laws capable of completely transforming your reality, and they have been kept secret for so long? Laws that, when applied correctly, can bring clarity, prosperity, and a deep connection to your spirituality. The problem is that most people go their entire lives without even being aware of these universal truths. These 12 spiritual laws you are about to discover will demystify everything you thought you knew about meditation, manifestation, and wisdom. Moreover, they will teach you how to align your actions with the universe, unlocking a level of understanding that goes beyond what modern society has shown us. You don't have to live limited by circumstances. The solution to many of the problems you face is just a step away, and it's right here, hidden in plain sight. So if you are tired of trying, feeling that things don't happen as they should, and finally want to understand what's missing to transform your life, stay here. These laws will open your mind to a new way of seeing the world. And the best part? You can start applying them today with results that will surprise you. 1. The Law of Divine Unity. The Law of Divine Unity teaches us that everything in the universe is interconnected in ways we often do not perceive. It's like the ripples of a lake. When a drop falls, the impact spreads throughout the surroundings. Similarly, our actions, thoughts, and words create waves that affect not only ourselves, but everyone around us. Imagine someone who practices meditation every day. By reaching a state of peace, this person not only transforms their own reality, but also positively influences the environment and people nearby. Everything is connected, even what seems distant. That's why the wisdom behind this law is so profound. It reminds us that even in the most difficult situations, a greater connection is happening. Spirituality is essential here. When someone connects with this idea, life begins to make more sense. Daily manifestations, whether good or bad, are reflections of this invisible network of energy. When we think in terms of unity, every decision we make can be more consciously made, knowing that the impact goes beyond what our eyes can see. A good example of how to apply this law is in personal relationships. By acting with compassion and understanding, we acknowledge the unity that exists between us and others. When we face challenges wisely, we are, in fact, creating a positive current in the universe. Thus, every moment of meditation or deep spirituality not only benefits us but elevates everyone around us. And it is precisely this connection that leads us to better understand the next laws, like the law of vibration. 2. The law of vibration. Everything in the universe is in constant motion, from the smallest atom to the stars in the sky. The law of vibration reminds us that nothing is static. Everything vibrates at different frequencies. Just like the sound of music that makes us feel good or bad, our emotions, thoughts, and actions also have their own vibration. When someone practices meditation, for example, they are tuning their frequency to a higher state of peace and clarity. It's like tuning a radio. When we are in sync with the right vibrations, life flows more harmoniously. And why is this important? Because what we vibrate, we attract. If we are in a vibration of fear or anger, we tend to attract situations that reflect those emotions. However, when we adjust our vibration to higher states, such as joy, love, and spirituality, our reality begins to reflect those qualities. Maintaining a high vibration is the secret to manifesting positive things in our lives. A good practice to elevate your vibration is using daily affirmations. By repeating phrases like, "I am grateful," or "I am at peace," we adjust our energy to something higher. You can apply this law practically by paying attention to your emotional vibration throughout the day. If you feel your energy declining, try a simple meditation technique or even a walk in nature. Small actions can radically change the frequency you emit. And by raising your vibration, you align more with the next law, the Law of Correspondence, which helps us better understand how these vibrations shape our reality. 3. The Law of Correspondence. The Law of Correspondence teaches us that what happens in the macrocosm reflects what is happening in the microcosm, and vice versa. As above, so below, says the saying. This means that each of our internal states directly shapes our external reality. If a person lives in constant worry, fear, or negativity, their life will likely reflect those mental states. On the other hand, when someone cultivates inner peace through spiritual practices like meditation, the world around them also begins to exhibit harmony and order. This concept is crucial for those seeking a deep understanding of spirituality and manifestation. Ancient wisdom shows us that to change the external world, one must first transform the internal. Imagine someone seeking financial prosperity, but living in emotional scarcity. The external will continue to reflect this internal lack until the person starts vibrating at the frequency of abundance, attracting aligned opportunities. This applies to all aspects of life, from relationships to professional matters. Applying this law in practice is simple, but powerful. When you want to change something around you, start by observing your inner world. If you are facing difficulties, ask yourself, what part of me is out of balance? By aligning your emotions, thoughts, and intentions, you create the exact correspondence with what you wish to manifest. This internal balance lays the groundwork for the law of attraction, where you begin to notice the direct relationship between your emotions and what you attract into your life. 4. The law of attraction. The law of attraction is perhaps the most well-known among spiritual laws, as it states that what we think and feel, we attract. Just like a magnet, our thoughts and emotions act as magnetic forces that bring experiences and people into our lives that vibrate at the same frequency. If someone continuously focuses on what they lack, for example, they attract more situations of scarcity. On the other hand, those who maintain a mindset of gratitude and abundance attract more things to be grateful for. It's a matter of aligning your desires with your emotions and thoughts to create the reality you want to live. Understanding this law requires more than just positive thinking. It's not enough to merely wish for something. You must feel and believe that it is already a part of your life. A good way to practice the law of attraction is through daily visualizations. When someone closes their eyes and imagines living the life of their dreams, they are not only aligning their thoughts with their desires, but also their emotions. Feeling good while visualizing a prosperous future is like sending an order to the universe, affirming that you are ready to receive what you are already manifesting. By consciously applying this law, you realize that your reality is malleable, that everything you desire already exists on an energetic level and is just waiting for you to align with it. Once you understand this process, you will be ready to move on to the next step, the law of inspired action. For attracting what you desire is only part of the process. The next step is to act in accordance with those vibrations. 5. The law of inspired action. The law of inspired action complements the law of attraction, reminding us that in order to manifest what we desire, we also need to take action. It's not about acting for the sake of acting, but about waiting for that moment of clarity when an idea or opportunity arises naturally and almost intuitively. It's that feeling of, this is what I need to do right now. When we are in tune with spirituality, the right action often appears as a sudden inspiration. This inspiration is a clear indication that the universe is opening pathways, and the next step is to proceed with confidence. It's common to see people wanting change but feeling paralyzed because they don't know what to do. In those moments, it's essential to remember the law of inspired action. Small signs and subtle intuitions appear when we are open and receptive, whether through a book that comes to us at the right time or an unexpected conversation. The important thing is to be attentive and trust your own discernment. A good practical example is to start cultivating a daily meditation routine. During these moments of silence, the mind clarifies, and inspirations often arise with more strength and clarity. When you begin to act from this inspiration, doors start to open fluidly. It's not about exhausting effort, but acting at the right moment, in the right way. And as you put these actions into practice, you also begin to move the energy around you, which leads us to the next law, the Law of Energy Transmutation, because as you take action, energy transforms and moves, creating new realities and making space for change. 6. The Law of Energy Transmutation. The Law of Energy Transmutation teaches us that everything around us is in constant change, and this change is driven by how we deal with energy. Each situation, every thought, and every emotion contains energy that can be transformed. Imagine that when you feel anger or frustration, you have the opportunity to channel that energy into something constructive, like physical or creative activity. It's the ability to turn something seemingly negative into something positive. This process of transmutation is essential for those seeking spiritual and emotional evolution. A practical way to apply this law is to observe your thoughts and emotions throughout the day. When you feel stuck in a cycle of negative thoughts, try changing your vibration through small actions, such as meditation, practicing gratitude, or even listening to uplifting music. The wisdom behind this law lies in recognizing that energy is never lost. It is constantly transformed. What seems like a challenge today can be turned into a springboard for growth, as long as we know how to direct the energy. This energetic transformation occurs continuously, even if we don't notice it. Every action we take, consciously or unconsciously, is changing the energy around us. And as we understand this dynamic, we begin to see the power we have to influence our lives and those of others. Transmutation is the key to changing the vibrations around us, leading us to the next law, the law of cause and effect, where we understand how every action generates a reaction. 7. The Law of Cause and Effect. The law of cause and effect is simple yet powerful. For every action, there is a corresponding reaction. Everything we do, think, or feel generates an effect at some level, whether immediate or long-term. If we plant seeds of kindness and compassion, we will reap fruits of harmony and peace. However, if we sow resentment and negativity, we will inevitably face situations that reflect those energies. It is a universal law that manifests in all areas of life. Just as in a cause and effect relationship in nature, our spiritual and emotional actions also shape what we experience. A practical example of this law can be observed in our daily interactions. If we treat others with respect and understanding, we are more likely to receive the same in return. Spirituality teaches us that what we send out into the universe comes back to us. Think of the times when a kind action resulted in something positive for you, or when a thoughtless decision brought unexpected consequences. Everything we do is connected to this cycle of causes and effects, and this understanding empowers us to act with greater wisdom. Knowing that each action has an effect leads us to a deep reflection on the responsibility we carry in our choices. By living with this awareness, we can influence our destiny in a more positive and intentional way. And it is precisely this power of choice which directly affects what we receive that leads us to the next law, the law of compensation, where we see how the universe returns to us in proportion to what we give. 8. The Law of Compensation. The law of compensation is the direct response to the law of cause and effect. It teaches us that the universe will always reward us according to what we offer. When we give something, whether in the form of time, effort, love, or any other type of energy, the universe finds a way to compensate us. However, the compensation may not always come in the form we expect. Sometimes, the return arrives at unexpected times or in ways we never imagined. This is part of the wisdom of this law, knowing that everything we do has a return, but it may not be immediate. Many expect compensation to come in financial or material forms, but the truth is that this law operates on various levels. An act of kindness may be rewarded with an unexpected opportunity. A word of support may bring a valuable friendship, and a sincere donation may return as emotional or spiritual prosperity. Spirituality teaches that when we give wholeheartedly, without expectations, the universe always compensates fairly, whether visibly or invisibly. The manifestation of this compensation occurs according to the type of energy we invest. This law invites us to be more conscious about what we are putting into the world. If we act with pure and genuine intention, we can expect returns that reflect that same energy. And as we continue to give and receive, we begin to understand the delicate balance of life. This cycle of giving and receiving, compensating and being compensated, is directly connected to the next law, the Law of Relativity, where we learn that everything is relative and depends on the context in which we view the world. 9. The Law of Relativity. The Law of Relativity teaches us that nothing is absolute. Everything is relative, depending on the perspective we adopt. In our spiritual journey, we often face challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But this law reminds us that these obstacles are relative to our perspective. When we change our viewpoint, what seemed like a major problem can reveal itself as an opportunity for growth. Imagine someone who lost a job, for example. What might appear to be a significant difficulty can turn into a chance to find a new career that aligns more closely with their deepest desires. This law also encourages us to stop comparing our lives to those of others. Each person has a unique path with their own lessons and challenges. When we look at our own experiences with gratitude and wisdom, we begin to understand that what is difficult for one person may be easy for another. It is this relativity that allows us to grow and develop at different levels. Spirituality shows us that by accepting our own journey, without comparisons, we can manifest greater balance and inner peace. A practical exercise for this law is to observe situations that seem difficult and ask, what would be another way to view this? By changing how we perceive a problem, we can find new solutions and perspectives. This adjustment in perception paves the way for the next law, the Law of Polarity, which shows us how everything in life has two sides, and how contrast is essential for balance. In the Law of Polarity, the Law of Polarity teaches us that everything in the universe has two opposing sides, and these contrasts are essential for balance. There would be no light without darkness, joy without sadness, or warmth without cold. This contrast allows us to experience the fullness of life, and by understanding it, we begin to accept challenges and adversities as fundamental parts of our growth. Just as night gives way to day, the difficulties we face have the potential to transform into moments of great learning and evolution. Everything in life is cyclical, and understanding this allows us to live with more wisdom and patience. Applying this law in everyday life can be transformative. When something bad happens, instead of fighting against it, ask yourself, what is this moment of darkness teaching me? Spirituality guides us to accept contrast as a natural part of existence. The manifestation of something positive often arises from facing challenging moments. A practical example of this is when we go through a heartbreak and, after overcoming the pain, find a relationship that aligns much more with who we truly are. This contrast is what allows us to appreciate the good when it arrives. Polarity makes us realize that there is no good without bad, and it is this dance between opposites that creates the harmony of the universe. By accepting both sides of the coin, we prepare ourselves to understand the next law, the Law of Rhythm, which reveals the natural cycles of life and how everything has its time and movement. 11. The Law of Rhythm. The Law of Rhythm shows us that everything in the universe follows a cycle, a constant movement of ups and downs. Just as the tides rise and fall, our lives also go through highs and lows, phases of expansion and contraction. When we are aware of these rhythms, we can learn to flow with them instead of resisting. In times of difficulty, understanding that this phase will pass gives us patience and serenity. Meanwhile, in times of prosperity, wisdom reminds us to be grateful and enjoy. As everything is part of a greater cycle, nothing remains static, and this is a blessing for our growth. This law is applicable in various areas of life. For example, if you are facing a phase of financial challenges, it's important to remember that this phase does not last forever. Spirituality teaches us to observe these cycles with acceptance and confidence, knowing that difficult moments often precede great achievements. Meditation can greatly help us maintain balance during these cycles. By accepting the rhythm of life, we become better prepared to navigate these ups and downs with greater wisdom. Flowing with the rhythm of the universe also means recognizing our own internal rhythms. There are times when we are more productive, and others when we need to rest and reflect. Respecting these cycles is a way to honor our connection with the whole. And as we understand the natural rhythm of things, we prepare ourselves for the law of gender, which explores the harmony between the masculine and feminine energies present in everything around us. 12. The law of gender. The law of gender teaches us that both masculine and feminine energies exist in everything in the universe, and the balance between these two forces is essential for creation and manifestation. The masculine energy is one of action, logic, and achievement, while the feminine energy is one of intuition, creativity, and receptivity. Both are equally important and complementary. However, the balance between them is what brings harmony. If a person acts solely with masculine energy, they may end up exhausting themselves. If they rely only on the feminine, they may feel stagnant. The wisdom lies in learning to use both energies in a balanced way. In everyday life, we can see this law in action in our own lives. When someone is overly focused on achieving goals and forgets to take care of themselves, they are out of balance. The same happens when a person solely engages in contemplation and does not take action to manifest their desires. A good practical example is alternating between moments of meditation, where the feminine energy of intuition and rest predominates, and moments of inspired action, where the masculine energy guides us to accomplish what we have planned. This balance is the key to full manifestation. Applying this law is simple when we understand that everything in the universe, including our own thoughts and actions, depends on this dance between the masculine and feminine. The manifestation of a fulfilling and balanced life only occurs when we find harmony between these forces. And thus, we reach the end of the spiritual laws, which guide us toward a life of wisdom, spirituality, and conscious manifestation. Conclusion. Now that you know the 12 spiritual laws, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let these laws become just another interesting read, or will you apply each one of them in your life, bringing real and powerful changes? The choice is yours, and the life you desire is within your reach. Every thought, every action, every intention you have can be transformed into a turning point if you start to act wisely. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with what I want to manifest? If the answer is no, what is holding you back? Perhaps it's a lack of knowledge, or maybe it's a lack of inspired action. Now that you know what to do, the next step is simple. Start applying it, one day at a time, and watch how your reality begins to transform before your eyes. And to continue learning more about how to transform your life, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Together, we will explore even more of these laws and how they can help you create the life you truly deserve. After all, true wisdom lies in taking action and putting into practice what you have just discovered.